and a conversation with human rights advocate Harry Wu.
Yeah, they have 3 million military force, 1 million public security police. They have 1 million people's armed police. I'm a single man. I even don't have a pistol. But the truth is my side.
Civil rights and human rights when we continue. Harry Wu is here. When you talk about courage, when you talk about being able to go back into a country and risk your life, you're talking about Harry Wu, who stands as much as anyone for human rights in the world. Back in a moment. Harry Wu spent 19 years in China's brutal labor camps for his criticism of the Chinese government. After his release, he came to America, where he gained citizenship and launched his campaign against human rights abuses. Periodically returning to his homeland to secretly document his labor camp horrors, Wu was captured and rearrested in June. His imprisonment caused a great strain in U.S.-China relations and nearly prevented Hillary Rodham Clinton from attending the Beijing Women's Conference. After 66 days of confinement, Wu was tried and sentenced to 15 years, then abruptly expelled from China. He returned to this country, where he continues his work for human rights, and we're pleased to have him back at this table. Welcome. It's great to see you. Especially good to see you. There's so much to talk about. I want to start with, what is there to be said now about, hey, you going back? At the time that you went back, I mean, there was a sense here that because of the passport you used and because you used your, as I understand, used your own name, that they were waiting for you.
Yes, I was naturalized as an American citizen last January. I went back to China in April and May with the BBC correspondent. After the BBC documentary, Chinese government very angry about it. And they find out I have a new passport and a new name. And this time, they stopped me right away at the border, check out by the computer. And they say, but they accuse me, say, I'm using a false name, a false document. But later, they drop it because this is not true. I have my official name, official passport, valid visa, nothing wrong.
Why did they expel you? Why did they let you come back?
Actually, at the beginning, 20 days. They never issue an official warrant of arrest. 20 days in the secret arrested.
Never a warrant of arrest?
Never. I protest every day. I say, I'm an American citizen. I have the right to contact my consulate. The Chinese secret police say, forget about it, okay? Even the American government, later I find out, they sent an officer, went to Xinjiang to look over me. They cannot find me. In 20 days, I was every day threatened to death.
And you had no communication with the outside world?
No, never. Totally isolated. And later I find out, under the pressure from American Congress, American government, of course include the international pressure, and in July 8th, and then they issue a warrant of arrest. When they issue the arrest of a warrant, I feel I'm safe now.
Because?
Because they want to using me as a bargain chip.
And what was the bargain?
Bargains for Mrs. Clinton to go to Beijing for the Women's Conference. Bargain for the Clinton to receive Jiang Zemin come to Washington.
Do you approve of the way the Clinton administration handled it?
Yeah, I think in my case, Clinton administration worked very hard. I really want to, say thanks to them. They worked very hard. Whatever, this is a kind of pressure from Congress or pressure from the common people. Anyway, State Department one of Christopher's and even President Clinton himself very concerned about it.
How did they express the leverage that got you out of China?
It's funny.
What did they threaten? What did they make clear to the government of the People's Republic of China?
The threaten is at the beginning 20 days.
Yeah.
They say, we know that you are coming, and we are knowing that you are American citizen. We know that if we try to solve the problem, because you as American citizen, we have some problem, but we're looking for long term, we have to solve the problem. You are the only one in the overseas China, or overseas Chinese, make a so big trouble to our government. We want to solve the problem. We just simply pick up some activities from your crime. That's enough for we sentence you to like this. So that's why they want to put me in the secret arrest. They know that I'm an American citizen. They know they violate their own law. They still want to do it.
You must have been fearful that this kind of thing was going to happen at some point. I mean, they're not going to let you keep coming back into China and film and bring what they consider embarrassment to their government. And so they're not going to continue to allow you to do that, whether you do it clandestinely or not. They're going to say, this is silly, we're not going to allow you to do this, and they're going to do something to prevent you from doing it, either arrest. You must have known that, and you had no fear.
Yes. I want to say, if someone in his life have the chance cross the line between the life and death several times, and you would not have the fear. You're not worried about anything. In 1992, Chinese government issued a wanting list, blacklist. I'm on the list. I know it. But I think, I go back to China in last year. And then this year I want to find out is what could happen to me. So I go to the Chinese consulate, apply the visa, and I got the visa. I have a kind of hesitation. Maybe this is a trap, maybe whatever. And I said, well, maybe they told me that, are you dare to come? Are you dare to take the challenge? I said, well, I take the challenge.
They said that, or you think they may have been implying that?
Applied that.
Well, you mentioned the notion of if you have crossed over between life and death and the fact that you might lose your life, then you become more courageous, is what you said. How does one do that? How does one develop that fearlessness?
First of all, the job I'm doing, I think is it's really helpful for our home country, for my home countrymen. I bearing as a witness. I have to expose the truth, even this is the ugly truth of the communism. I think I have to do it.
Why do you have to do it?
Charlie, today I'm in front of you as a human beings. You have to know, if I, at that time, in my time in the forced labor camp, I pass away, and you never can see me. And many, many of them, same as me, but they only is a nameless and faceless today. Okay? Nothing different. I'm just lucky.
That you got out.
Yes. Life sometimes means nothing, but sometimes life is very worth.
Are you saying to me you're driven by those nameless people who will die unless someone carries the battle for human rights?
I cannot turn my back to these people. I can't. And you have to know, today millions of people experience my experiences. I can't.
Millions and millions in China, or millions and millions around the world?
Millions of people in China, Chinese.
Experience those kinds of...
My experiences, my old experiences. They still in the Chinese labor camp. They're suffering and forced to labor, forced to brainwashing under the autocracy.
Newsweek magazine this week, out today, storm warnings, Yang makes it clear that his summit with Clinton won't go smoothly. There is some tension between these two governments. He's coming here not on a state visit as they hoped, with but on a different kind of visit. They'll meet in New York. What ought to be the position and the policy of this government with respect to that government? And what leverage should we use to try to help those people that you can't forget?
First of all, I think everybody today in the world very happy that communism collapsed in the Soviet bloc. And everybody today is talking about in next century there's a new economy giant, China, will be in front of us. Economy giant also become a political giant. And what is that? It's a communist giant. Under the communist giant, what shall we do? What is American-China policy? What is it? In 1993, Clinton administration have a condition on MFN, have a must-do condition for the MFN.
Right.
And 1994, totally delinked it.
Yeah. They linked most favored trade status to changes in the behavior of the Chinese government. Subsequent to that, they delinked it and said, no longer will we
I think the human rights
withhold most favored nation.
I'm sorry. Yes. Human rights should be in the top agenda in the relation between China and United States. And not only with the United States, but also with the other countries.
And the argument continues, and this is not a new debate for this table or for you either. The notion is that how do you best achieve human rights gains? Do you do it by exercising very tough policies, hard-nosed policies, in which there will be some kind of price to pay if you continue human rights violations? Or do you try to develop trade, to develop relationship? Do you try to get along in order to have some influence?
I think, first of all, the message clear is no free lunch. Today, Chinese communists suppose will be survive because the economic development going very well today in China. How it's going? The profit, the benefits not come from socialist state-run enterprises, not come from these public ownership system. It's come from the trade, come from the foreign investment. For example, last year at the border, there's no computer. This time, they checked me out right away by the computer. I was escorted by the secret police in China in a small vehicle. The vehicle is made by Audi. All the secret police have a mobile phone.
Mobile phone.
Yeah, mobile phone, made by Motorola. You have to see the two different ways. One way is the economic development, the trade, the benefit. Yeah, it is benefit common people, helping the capitalism thriving in China. And the people is talking about, yeah, capitalism thriving and finally will beat the socialism, and then China will totally turn into new direction, bring the human rights issue back. Well, in this moment, I don't want to argue about this kind of political idea. But anyway, you have to see the other side. Actually, most of the benefit is going into the government. That's why today China have the money to buy the equipment, buy the technology to advance their missile system.
You're saying that most of the advantages of commerce go to strengthen the government and enlarge its power.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, everybody knows that.
But what's the policy you think that we ought to?
Oh, there's a lot of things we can do. Even in the economy area, we can talk about the copyrights, we're talking about dumping, we're talking about stop the forced labor product importation, we can talking about the trade balance, many things we can do, actually.
Is the Clinton administration, in your judgment, going to do them?
I don't know, but I really wish President Clinton can do something. And recently, I know that President Clinton is going to meet Jiang Zemin in New York next week. I hope, I quite remember that Mrs. Clinton in Beijing, she said, it is time to break in silence. the breaking the silence of
On
human
human
rights
rights.
abuses.
Did her speech have an impact?
Yeah, there's a very big impact. At least government, Chinese government, listened to it, heard about it. I hope President Clinton.
But did it change their ideas about anything?
Oh wow, this take a while to do it, step by step.
Well, what will change their ideas? I mean, you seem to be saying that the only thing will change is to exercise leverage against them, take very hard policies against dumping, take very tough positions on copyright, take very tough positions on trade, take very strong positions on human rights. And that's the only thing that will change their mindset.
Oh, there's a lot of leverage can do is stop any high tech go to the government, stop these military technology.
If they don't get it from us, will they get it from someone else?
Well, I think the thing is not only today in the United States. Last week I was in Germany, and Germany is doing something. Australian government just a few months ago, they passed a resolution to stop the forced labor products.
Do you sense that there is a growing business community pushing the agenda to let things be because they are finding that huge market there available for their goods?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is business now strongly on the side of increased trade between China and the United States
mm-hmm.
and an amelioration of the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the reality?
Yeah, I know this is reality.
And what's the impact of that? I mean, are these business people having a consequence?
Yes, today most of these, for example, last year I know that 800 large business in Washington lobby for Chinese MFN.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to blame the small business, because small business only care about their family, care about the employee, and they want the cheap products, cheap labor. It's understandable. But the big business, they really have the responsibility.
How strong is the pro-democracy movement
Today in China?
Yes.
Well, it's hard to say, because in any kind totalitarian regime, you never can find an opposition party, something like that. If any voices come out, they right away to try to dismiss it. But I learned by myself. Last year I was in China. I traveled 45 days from the far west to the east, by village. I never go into this fast-style hotel in downtown in Beijing, in Shanghai. You know, everybody can be there. Talk to the common people. Okay, and I find out one conclusion: communism as an idea, as a faith in China, is gone, dead. Nobody believe it. And what is the direction to go?
What's the new faith?
Yeah, this new faith. The new faith definitely is very different with communism.
Yeah. But what is it? It's a totalitarianism. It's a belief in the power of the state.
It is true. China will be under totalitarian regime maybe several generations. Not easy. Even tomorrow.
Several generations.
I would say that. Even tomorrow, the capitalism collapsed. That doesn't mean China's right away turn into democracy. You have to know China's under this kind of tradition at least 2,000 years.
Deng Xiaoping, when he dies, does it change anything because he's been so out of it for a while?
Basically, I don't think the thing will be changed. Communism could be replaced by nationalism, replaced by patriotism, but China was still under a kind of totalitarian several generations. I believe that.
Yeah. Let me go back to you and your personal story, because you brought me these photographs, which I wanted to take a look at.
Oh, this is the evidence of my crime.
This is your evidence of your crime when they issued the arrest warrant.
Yes. No, in the trial.
During the trial.
Yeah.
They presented this as evidence of the fact that you were. What was the charge? That you were spying for?
Stealing state secrets, passing to two major foreign TV companies.
Right. Okay. to foreign TV companies, included what, BBC
CBS,
and
BBC.
CBS, yeah. Okay, and CBS, because you went over there for 60 Minutes, I guess, with Ed Brown. Now, this is what? This is evidence?
This is the watchtower of the #1 prison, was the Zhejiang province.
Yeah.
Under this tower, there's a 3,000 prisoners produced, the chain hoist, export to all over the world, including the United States.
But this was evidence #1 of what you were doing here. Picture
And
of
this
this
is
tower.
so-called state secrets.
Right, okay.
This is #2 prison. Inside, I take a secret shot.
Yeah.
A group of the prisoners going to the workshop. They produce the Diamond brand hand tools, export to everywhere, including the United States. And this is the place, I stay over there 4.5 years. At Bradley, we went over there in 1991.
Right.
They call this a Qingho Farm.
Call it a what?
Qingho Farm.
Qingho Farm.
I almost died over there.
Yeah. And this?
This is another picture I took last year. A group of the prisoners in the lunchtime. Okay, and they call this the state secret. That's why they charged me 15 years.
In the end, why do they do it? Why do they think it's necessary?
I just mentioned that in the beginning 20 days, they're waiting for me, expect me to come, and they want to caught me and secretly abolished it. And finally, under the pressure, international pressure, they want to, say, seriously, we are according our judiciary procedure, step by step, to, But it is funny. It's they charge me as a spy by Chinese government spokesman, but later they drop it because everybody knows CBS, BBC not an intelligence service. So the spy charge is dropped, and how to drop it? And say, okay, you're stealing some secret.
That was not my question. My question was, why are they this government, so fearful of democracy and so fearful of allowing dissidents to speak out, so fearful of the free exchange of ideas? Do they believe that their hold on the people is so tenuous that if they let go and allow people to speak out and open the prisons and do all those things that the community of nations would want them to do, that they will be toppled?
If they allow the people to speak out, and autocracy will.
Yeah. They believe that what happened in Russia and what happened to the Iron Curtain and what happened to the Berlin Wall will happen in Tiananmen Square.
That's right. The thing is, if today they allow the freedom of speech, freedom of press, tomorrow there's no autocracy in China. Yeah. That's why they fail.
And what do you say to those people who would say, what business is it of ours, what kind of government they impose or choose?
You're talking about today?
Yeah.
Communist is communist. No big difference. No difference in Mao times or no different even in Stalin times. Communist still is a communist. No basic difference now today. This is not democratic regime.
Back to a personal end, Harry. Did you know you had courage?
I have the courage. I know it.
You knew that all along?
Yeah. I don't afraid anything about it. Yeah, they have 3 million military force, 1 million public security police. They have 1 million people's armed police. I'm single man. I even don't have a pistol. But the truth is my son. Okay. That's why they worry about me. They fear about me. I'm not worried about it.
They also fear because they know that you can come to the United States or you can go to other places because you now have a name recognized around the world and you have a voice that can rally against them.
Yes. That's why they want to solve, they use the term solve the problem. We want to silence you. Because I'm talking about the truth. Ugly truth of them, of their system.
What was the worst moment for you this time?
The worst moment, let me tell you once, they replay the BBC tape and CBS tape, ask me to identify each picture. What is it? once there's a picture about my wife on screen. Because I was totally isolated. I never can talk to my family, never can talk to my consulate. And I really warning myself, don't think about your family, your wife. Stop it, forget about it. If I think about my wife, my family, I'm sure I will, pour my nails on the ground and to beg them, let me go back. But my wife suddenly appeared on the screen. This is my worst time. It's really hard for me.
And how did you get past it?
And after that, I come back to my room. I cover a T-shirt on my face. I was under watch over by 3 young lieutenants, 24 hours in my small room. When I cover my face, this is not allowed. And the young lieutenant come and lift my T-shirt. Said, "What are you doing?" I don't want them to see my tears running. I don't want it.
Harry Wu's book, Bitter Winds, is a memoir of his years in China's Gulag. You all know the story. He was rearrested when he went back and then expelled after some contention between the government of China and the government of the United States. He said this evening, because of pressure applied by the Clinton administration, it is good to see you back, and thank you for coming and sharing this time with us. We thank you also on this day for joining us. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. See you then.